Welcome to In Focus with Eden Lane.
Later we'll meet Colorado photographer and artist Iman Woods. She uses the art of the pinup to empower the women who are her models and clients. Ballet Nouveau Colorado rocked the local dance scene when the artistic director Garrett Ammon created his new work, Rock Ballets. By popular demand, the company is presenting another encore performance. Now our encore look at their first run at the Arvada Center. But we'll begin tonight with a behind-the-scenes look at Ballet Nouveau Colorado and their encore performance of Garrett Ammon's Rock Ballets right here at the Arvada Center Amphitheater. So that was a really intense rehearsal you all had, and of course I really appreciate you taking part of your lunchtime to talk to us. This is the first time you've extended your season, is that true?
Yes.
Yeah. Coming this summer.
So once you thought you were off for the season and you found out that you had one more show to go, what was your reaction?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very happy because our breaks are always so long, several, like 4 or 5 months sometimes it's been, and it's nice to kind of break it up and have something to do in the summer and stay in shape. And
In a brand new venue.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you any of you seen this venue before?
I haven't.
No.
I've driven by it a couple of times. It's going to be really fun, I think, because not many of us have performed outdoors. So it's really going to, especially with our rock ballets, it's going to feel like a rock show with lawn seats, and it's going to be neat.
So since you mentioned that the program is Rock Ballets, it's Queen and In Excess and David Bowie, right?
Yes.
Of those, how does it feel to try to take the vernacular of ballet and stick it to that kind of music? How does that feel to you?
When it comes to Garrett's movement, it's easy. I mean, it's so much fun. It's like this sort of American pop ballet dance folk thing, and it's
American pop ballet dance folk thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you hear music, you hear pop music or rock music, and it's fun to do that too. It just works. It just happens, and it's extremely organic, and I think we were all really excited to know we were going to be coming back to this show to do this summer, to know we were going to be doing Garrett's work and a show that we had a lot of success with, and that we felt so strong about and we had so much fun with. I think that's what we were really excited about, knowing we were going to come and do this show this summer.
The Queen section was the first real imprint that Garrett had on your company when he came here, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, the In Excess ballets were work he did at Memphis.
Yes.
And is the David Bowie section, is that new?
Yes.
Yes. So when he came and joined your company, and some of you had been here for some time and some of you are fairly new as well, that was your first exposure to your new artistic director. What went through your mind?
Perfect.
Slash,
Yeah.
how do I do that? I don't understand that step. I mean, what is that? For me, it was like just really keep an open mind and just whatever happens, go with the flow, see how things are gonna feel, and and I would say the moment that we met them, at least for me, it was like, okay, this is gonna feel really great. Like this is gonna be a dream come true. And then to work with him in the studio and to have first seen his movement, and it was like, okay, this is home.
Do you hear music differently now when you're trying to work on pieces for yourself, or just in general, do you hear it differently now that you've expanded the way the company works?
I don't think, for me, I don't necessarily hear music differently. I mean, sometimes I feel like I might hear a little bit more, but because of the way Garrett works and because of a lot of his music, I've started putting songs together into stories. Kind of how he, like with the Queen Ballet and the In Excess Ballet and the David Bowie Ballet, they all sort of have a through line. But even though none of the songs are really related in a story, they all have this sort of through line that creates its own story. And I've started doing that with music now too. Like I've started listening to different things, and all of a sudden like, oh wait, that fits with this song and that fits with this song, and there's this whole story, and it may not even be the same artist, but it just sort of starts coming together that way for me. So
I think with the David Bowie ballet, though, it's almost like, and I mean, you guys might disagree, but it almost seems like David Bowie made the music for Garrett for the ballet. Like it's
like
very
that.
He embodies the music really very well.
Yeah, it just seems like I don't
Yeah.
know. That's how it felt to me.
which to me is like just a testament of something that Garrett does amazingly well, that
Right.
he's so great at. is putting that together, because like you said, it sounds like David Bowie, 30 years prior made this music for this ballet, you know? So it's
Thank you for mentioning that it was 30 years ago. Really, the structure of ballet, whether it's traditional classical ballet or contemporary ballet, when you're able to do that, when you're able to find a through line for the artist to work, whether the audience gets it or not, it's still telling the story, which is the same way ballet was when it was first created. It was new and avant-garde at one time. So you still have classical parts of your repertoire, and class every morning, right? How does that affect your ability to do this kind of work?
I think it creates such a strong base for us to be able to do the classical work. I mean, it's just like anything. I think a classical musician can kind of vary into different forms of music. For us, it's like knowing the classics, getting that really strong core, it allows us to do all these crazy things and then come back. Because if we were just out there like throwing ourselves around and we didn't have that strength to come back to something, we would just look like, I don't know,
Blobs.
a bunch of like...
It wouldn't be as disciplined.
Yeah, and I don't think it would have quite this impact. I mean, be like a bunch of us dancing around like a bonfire or something.
So having that classical foundation sort of liberates you to do this work a little more.
Garrett's got the classical foundation like really strong. He comes from like a really strict classical background, and you can see that in the work as well, because you're doing like 3 movements in one count, and then all of a sudden you got to hit a tendu, and it's like you better get your tendu because you're gonna be like.
Show us. So if you were to find someone who thinks of, they like dance, they like this, but they only know about the big things, the big shows that are at the Buell or at the LE, what would you say?
Come check us out.
I'd say what we do is so unique, I think, here, that, because I have people all the time, especially like with the name of our company, people will go, oh, is it this company or is it that? And I'm like, no, not to say that, I mean, those other companies are special and great in their own right, but we do something so unique and so special, and I think all of our bond that all of us have is so unique and so special, and I think you can really see that on stage, and it's really hard to describe. You have to just experience it for yourself.
I think, yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Megan.
No, it's okay.
I think that the thing that really sets us apart from things that come to the Buell or whatever are the human qualities and the realness that happens on stage. It's just real. We're real people, and we have a message, or Garrett's message, or whatever. I mean, there's
a real story.
A real story, real human concepts and emotions, and
that's something that I feel like a lot of
people can relate
ballet
to.
companies, dance companies don't allow. They don't want individuals. They want to see a group
A corps de ballet.
of
Yes.
everybody looks the same, everybody does everything the same way, and Garrett's very much about, well, I want it to be together, but everybody can be slightly different. I want to see how you do it, and I want to see how you do it. And
I feel like too
they
a
allow us.
lot of like theatrical, anything in this sort of theatrical field, they sort of present a show and they tell you what to think about it. Like, this is this character feeling this. This is this character in a ballet doing this. This is, Giselle feeling sad. And it's very, it's very like you walk away going, oh, that was a nice story. But with Garrett's work, a lot of times you sort of walk away and you go, wow, I really don't. Sometimes you really get it, and sometimes you go, I don't know what it was about, but I know how I feel right now. And it just, and there's no wrong answer.
I feel like the audience there's not that fourth wall that's separating performer audience. It's like they jump in with us and we jump out there to them. Like, it's a whole happening.
And in some shows we literally are out there.
And sometimes, yeah.
Well, I'm sure they're all going to want to jump in with you as your company continues to grow and continues to explore all this work you're doing. Thank you for spending some of your lunch with me.
Thank you.
That, by the way, if you couldn't tell, was the end of the interview. a great rehearsal day, we're finally here at the amphitheater at the Arvada Center for rock ballets. So all of the dancers are backstage getting warmed up and getting in their places, while you see behind me the audience are taking their seats after having a brief stop, for some of them in the picnic area, or even sitting on their blankets or lawn chairs on the upper level. It's going to be a great show. We saw these young ladies rocking out to the music at intermission at Rock Ballet.
It's really cool because I'm a big fan of this kind of music, and I'm really excited for the next segment because I love David Bowie, so it's good. It's really great. It's really cool.
I like the way they interpreted the songs.
And you?
Yeah, I love the music. I love Garrett's movement. The dancers are fantastic. It's just a great combination.
Well, actually, BNC's work speaks for themselves, but when the executive director here went to Rock Ballets at the beginning of BNC's season, the next day at work, he came in and all he said to me was, "Cherie, your brother rocks."
Ballet Nouveau Colorado will rock you again at the Arvada Center Amphitheater on June 8th. Visit bncdance.com for ticket information. Colorado photographer and artist Iman Woods uses the art of the pinup as a way to empower her clients and models. She helps them express their beauty and capture it in an iconic image. Tonight we not only meet the artist, but some of her models to describe the experience. Thank you, ladies, very much for coming here this afternoon. I guess the first thing I want to find out is, how did you all find out about Iman?
Facebook.
You found her on Facebook?
Yes, I did.
Were you searching for a photographer?
A friend of mine actually had taken some pictures with her, and I saw them. She posted them, and so I asked her right away who the photographer was, and then she connected us, and I friended her, and
we hit it off.
Yeah.
So it was a social media referral kind of thing. And how did you find her?
Oh, I've always wanted to do pinup photography or have my photos done. But in Denver, there's always just been male photographers, and a lot of their photos have been really sexualized, I guess. And the way Ammon captures the women in her photos, like, I became a big fan of hers.
How did you find her the first time?
I just Googled pinup photography, and she was the second one on there, and I actually fell in love with her, and she was pregnant at the time. So I kind of just hung out, waited for her to come back from maternity leave, and as soon as she was back, I was like, I would like to do photos with you. And that's how I met her.
So again, another social media, sort of internet kind of connection. Is that also how you found her?
Yeah, I actually had done some research online for about 6 months. I was looking at a whole bunch of different photographers, and I came across her website, and it blew me away. It was exactly what I was looking for.
So that kind of social media connectivity has been really important to you, growing your work.
It has, and in a surprising way. A lot of photographers are working really hard to try and get that kind of thing to happen, and for me, it just happened because I think what I'm providing is more than photographs. It's an experience, and in some cases, maybe life-changing.
Mm-hmm.
We hope it has a lasting effect. So it's grown like wildfire, surprisingly.
You said that you were interested in having boudoir or pinup photography done. What made you want to have that done?
I always had low self-esteem growing up.
Really?
Yeah. My family wasn't too supportive, so I found the pinup lifestyle or rockabilly lifestyle, and it was all these women that was so strong and confident and beautiful in every body shape. And seeing Ammon's photos and how she can capture beauty and inner beauty even with all these women, I wanted to be one of those women in her photos. So I made it a goal to seek her out.
How did it feel when you saw your photos?
Oh my gosh, I think I giggled and cried and then giggled some more. It was amazing, and we made it a date night with my husband and I, and just to see him see what she saw in the photos, I think I will remember for the rest of my life.
Now, you said you saw her because someone else had photos. Had you had an interest in having pinup photography done, or did you just like those photos?
I just like those photos, I think.
What
And
was
then
it-
when I got to, I started looking at her website and got to know her a little bit. It's just something, I don't know that I always wanted to do it, but it was something I felt like it was just time to do. I can't quite explain it.
How did it feel when you finally picked up the phone to talk to her?
Well, she's really warm.
Mhm.
And so, you know, I came over and we went through the studio and we talked about different things. She asked me all these questions about what I liked and what I didn't like about myself or what my husband liked. And so it was just really warm. But when I came to take my pictures, I was so afraid.
You were?
At first, I was so nervous. And but once we started, it was so much fun. We had such a great time. And I think we went longer than we should have just because we didn't realize what time it was. And we had a blast.
I can see in this environment here, it is not just warm and safe, but there's so many nooks and crannies of inspiration all over. I can see how it would end up taking much more time than you'd planned.
It's really hard to stop. I mean, you get into this zone and it takes people a little while to warm up. But once they warm up, you get some awesome, awesome pictures.
So what was it about pinup photography that made you seek her out?
Well, actually, my husband is a big pinup art lover, and so it was a gift for him.
Oh.
Yeah, so for his birthday, it was actually a little bit late, but it was intended for his birthday. But it kind of became more about...
That speaks to what you were talking about. It can be so personal and so important and life-changing. If it's okay, can you tell me a little bit more about what it became for you in addition to being a gift between a wife and her husband?
I had a lot of issues with trying to get pregnant, and it never happened for us, and so it kind of took away my feeling of being a woman. And I didn't know I was missing it until I came here and I looked beautiful, and I was surprised at how Iman captured me on film and made me feel like I should feel all the time.
It's a beautiful thing to see how art can move us, and then when you're participating in the art, how much deeper that connection can be.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I always take a peek at myself now on the on the wall.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Whenever I feel a little kind of gloomy or down, or I want to kick myself because I didn't do something right, I just kind of go and look at my pictures and...
And you made a nice, attractive display out of some of your pictures.
My husband called it the Wall of Fame, so...
Every woman needs a wall of fame.
I think you're right.
Every woman does.
I think everybody needs that sort of touchstone to feel connected to themselves and their environment and to the art that's available to them in the world. So tell me about your favorite photos that came from that session.
It's kind of hard to pick a favorite, but I was really nervous. I brought these little black undies that were lacy, and I was really nervous about putting them on. I told Iman, I said, I don't think I'm ready for this. But she
You must have been, otherwise you wouldn't have brought them.
Well, I purchased them when I made the appointment, and I was hoping that I would have lost some weight before, but life happens, whatever. Iman found me beautiful and captured my beauty at this weight, so I can see that now. I didn't need to lose 50 pounds to find myself beautiful.
We
But
can't wait for life.
Yeah.
Life is here now.
And
that's kind of part of the point of your work, isn't it?
That's the point of my life. I think that's my lesson to learn. I've had my own weight struggles, and
it could be weight, it could be any number of issues
Yeah.
that especially women in Western culture face.
especially.
So we didn't get to find out what your favorite photos were.
So it's in the boudoir, and I'm laying on my belly, and it just captures me. I'm giggling, I'm laying on my belly with my hands up and my legs up. I mean, on my hands and my legs are up, and I'm just laughing. And it's me. It's sexy, it's funny, it's flirty, and I'm having fun and I'm happy.
Did it surprise you to learn all those things about you?
Yeah, it was really weird. When I don't know what I looked like when I saw those pictures, but I felt like,
she giggled.
Really, that's me?
She giggled the entire premiere. She giggled. So did Joe. That's so cute.
When you say premiere, what do you mean by that?
After the photo shoot, before you see the pictures, I prepare a movie, and you come down here, and on the big screen we show it to you. A lot of couples make it a date night, and it's your big premiere, and that's when you first see your images. And she giggled the entire time.
And I couldn't believe it was me, and I was like, my eyes are really that blue, and
yeah,
they are.
My butt doesn't look really like I thought it would look. Did you tell them about the rule?
We have a studio rule. While you're in the studio, you're not allowed to say anything negative about yourself.
I think that rule should apply everywhere,
It
not
should,
just
but it
in
doesn't.
here.
But it doesn't. But once you practice it, imagine if you spend 2 to 4 hours saying only nice things about yourself, how better you'd feel about yourself at the end of the day. So that's our studio rule, and somebody was treading very close to breaking it.
And she catches you every time. She's caught me many times.
What did you think of your photos? Is there a photo or a series of photos that came out of that session that made you feel particularly wonderful?
Yes, obviously. And when I did my premiere, I think my jaw was hanging down. I couldn't believe it. And
did your husband come with you, or did you come alone?
He came, and I was nervous because I hadn't seen the photos, and I was afraid what is she going to put up there? But obviously, she picked the best ones, and she takes a lot of photos, and then she picks the ones that she thinks bring out your personality and what you're looking for. And so I had some with some red cupcakes. And I like those because they're really innocent and flirty, and I'm laughing in some of them. I'm kind of looking away, so I look sort of mischievous, and I don't know. I just love those. And then the other photo I really like, which I didn't want to talk about, was when I'm lying on the bed and I'm wearing black fishnets and a black corset, and that's just not me almost. And so that's why I really like it, because it's just not it's not something I would ever put on usually. So it was it was me, but it wasn't. And
there's something in there that's you.
I would say in that moment, the reason that shot works and that it's just like Rachel's, where it's you, but it's you embodied in all of these things. Your inner Victoria's Secret came out. And it was like you were posing for the catalog. You were totally confident. You were looking at the camera. It was wonderful. And that's what happened.
So what came from your photo session that you want to share with?
Oh, goodness. I would have to say my favorite is the one with me sitting in an apron that my mother had made for me. And I'm holding cherries. It's my favoriteest one. Growing up, I've always been said that you're the cute one, you're the little petite girl, and I've always wanted to be like the tigress. And in that photo, I was a bombshell, and that was just like, I've never had that before, and to have it frozen and going to be framed, it's going to be pretty amazing. So
well, it sounds like it was a really fun and sort of delightful experience for you. Someone who is coming to you and saying, I thought about doing this, but I could never, that's just not me. What would you say to them about coming to Iman for this kind of work?
She makes it easy, because she already sees that beauty inside of you. I'm gonna cry again.
It's okay.
And she brings it out. I mean, you don't have to do much. She just tells you, and she showed, along the way, she showed me some pictures, I think, to kind of alleviate some of that fear that, oh God, what are they going to look like?
Right.
But she already sees it in you before you step in front of the camera.
And then you get to take it with you when you leave.
It's her personality and what she can bring out in you. And, I mean, she feels like a sister to me. And I met her because I wanted to have photos taken, so I'm going to cry too.
She brings a sisterhood to the photos, and you become her family, and it's more than just photos after you've done a session with her. And that's what I walk away from every time.
But it's not just her, it's all of us, you know? Like you said, I mean, I didn't know them before Iman, and we can dress up like roller derby girls now and hang out.
Yeah. I think that the positive things that I talk about is what everyone wants to believe, and it's contagious, just like negativity is contagious.
That's true.
I think the things that I say and believe are what everyone wants to believe about feeling beautiful and wearing your skin and being proud of it. And just as negativity is contagious, so is positivity. And I think that you have these beautiful, amazing women. They immerse themselves in the process. And if they didn't take it seriously and didn't want it to work, it wouldn't. It's not just me. And then what happens is it's contagious. Then they go home and they see a girlfriend and they tell a girlfriend how beautiful she is. And it's something that needs to happen. We all need it. We need this way more than we need all of the negative stuff that we hear.
Even just viewing your work and meeting the women who trust you to include them in your work, I can feel it. To learn more about the self-empowerment of pinup art, visit imanwoods.com for more information. Poetry and film combine on the big screen at the Spoken Word Cinema, a new 48-hour film challenge. It's a collaboration between poets and local filmmakers. Filmmakers can still register until June 8th. Visit spokenwordcinema.com for all the details. And we'll bring you a special report from this inaugural event.
That's all for this edition. Remember to join us on Facebook and Twitter. With all that Colorado has to offer, we're here to help you keep it in focus. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Snugglebug.